No joke, I lost 15 pounds in a month using this 2-word weight loss method.
Gorgeous, baby. You're gorgeous.
This is the Josh Podcast Show, the anti-podcast podcast on God and man. The show that everybody's talking about. The show that will become a necessary part of your weekly mental diet. The show that picks up where JoshRolfe.com leaves off. The show title that uses the word podcast 4 times. Introducing your host, Josh Rolfe.
For anyone who thinks this show has lost its footing, how last week was about politics, today is about losing weight. Do you think that this show is no longer what it originally claimed to be? I ask you, revisit the name of the show. This is, after all, the Anti-Podcast Podcast and the Josh Podcast, and also the podcast on God and man, and probably something else I'm forgetting in that very long show title. Perhaps the longest show name of all podcasts in our universe. This podcast is not about any one thing, as every podcast is. Every podcast is about something. I just started listening to one the other day. It's hosted by Billboard. It's on alternative music, and it's called #AlternativeFacts. And then there's this comedian who just does comedy. And then there's a business one that just talks business, and the religious talks religion, and the sports fans talk sports. But this podcast, my podcast, is about everything. There is no common thread at all other than, well, me. Besides me, though, this show has no running theme. It has no central mission, no reason for existing other than to provide a show in the now nearly infinite choices of podcasts that stands out from all the rest, because it is about every random thing under the sun. That's what the show is about. If you have an idea for a show, send it my way. I'd love to talk about it. I'll have you on. We'll record it through Skype if you live outside the reach of the Rolfe family studio, which is my closet microphone. Oh, and rate the podcast on iTunes. Yeah, you always say that, Josh. I've had no reviews since my last one, which was a 2-star review, which was so not cool. I know what you're thinking right now. If you're like me, you're thinking, I should give Josh another 2-star review. Wouldn't that be so evil of me? But you are better than that. You're realizing right now that by doing that initial carnal thought of yours, it would be like slashing my tires. Something that may have crossed your mind, but you wouldn't slash my tires. I hope you wouldn't slash my tires. Losing weight. Losing weight with only 2 words. That's what this show is about. I'll tell you right now, what I'm about to say, you have never heard before. All those weight loss ads on TV, the newspaper, in your Facebook feed, on news sites, billboards, radio, your friends, etc. I have 2 words. 2 words. That's all you need to lose weight. And it's not lose weight, okay? Those are 2 words. I'm not going to this isn't a gimmick, okay? I mean, it's kind of a gimmick. Every weight loss program is a gimmick. This one is just a little more credible than the others. Personally, I've been obsessed with losing weight for exactly at no point ever in my life. I've always been thin. For the longest time as an adult, like circa 25 years old until maybe 5 years ago, I weighed right around 175 pounds, which at about 6'2", I say about because yes, I am rounding up. I'm 6'1" and a little more than 3/4. Okay. I'm not saying that to boast or brag, but I'm about 6'2", with shoes on, 6'2", 6'3". So at 175 and that weight or that height, that is a lean body. But as my body began its long decline toward the grave, which begins in your late 20s, but you don't begin to really feel it until your mid-30s, I noticed that one day that I weighed 185 pounds. The next thing I knew, I was 190. And to be perfectly honest with you, I was so excited because I had been picked on as a kid for being skinny. Then as an adult, people would make comments over the years about how unathletic I was, or how, part of my shtick is perhaps an extreme mode of self-deprecation, but I would run with all of those insults and joke about how skinny and unathletic I was. So there I was at 190 pounds, and then all of a sudden I'm 195 pounds. So I'm starting to weigh myself more often. And then I'm 196, 197, and I suddenly became obsessed with the idea of hitting 200 pounds. I would look at myself in the mirror. This is true. And would wish that I'd hit 200 pounds and even go far beyond that weight. I wondered what I would look like as a very large man. A fat man, you could say. I wanted to be fat. But that was just a phase. My wife would correct me. She'd say, "You don't want to be fat. There are all these bad things that go along with obesity." So I'd say, "Like what? Name one thing." And she would respond with, "You could die." So I began to have this dueling fight within myself. On one hand, I wanted to reach 200 pounds and beyond. But on the other, I wanted to listen to my good wife by not dying. So I said earlier that I never wanted to lose weight, and I didn't. But 2 words later, I lost 15 pounds practically overnight. With just 2 words, I can tell you how to lose significant weight, about 5% of your body weight, overnight. When I say I haven't wanted to lose weight, it's a true statement. But I happen to know all about losing weight because I grew up immersed in losing weight culture. In the early 80s, 35 years ago or so, as a young boy, I remember these diet fads that would sweep across the land. I wasn't super connected at that time. I didn't have a Facebook account. But I believed that all of these people in the world were doing this. And I got this from an unnamed person or people who lived in my home at the time, who would buy the magic weight loss drink, or they'd take the class, or do the latest proven workout to bring about instant weight loss, because that was the goal. And there was one particular milkshake product that intrigued me. It was the Cambridge milkshake, and it promised to the world, to those who drank the product, that it would provide quick weight loss. It was a miracle cure to the ailing, overweight individual. And it's even still around. I just did a search on it and found that at CambridgeDiet.co is the Cambridge Food for Life Fast Start program. They all have these long, very sophisticated names. And it says on their site, through the balanced nutrition of the Cambridge Food for Life nutrition formulas, your body will get the critical nutrients it needs to maintain good health in only 420 calories each day. How many calories? Let's do a search on this. How many calories do I need a day? I'd probably have to enter my height and weight. How many calories does a person need in each day? An average woman needs to eat about 2,000 calories per day to maintain and 1,500 calories to lose 1 pound of weight per week. An average man needs 2,500 calories to maintain weight, I guess, and 2,000 to lose 1 pound of weight per week. 420 with this shake is nothing. What a plan, right? This Cambridge milkshake. But it didn't work so well because of one detrimental side effect of the Cambridge shake and the many similar weight loss methods, such as the smoothie or the pill or the high protein, low fiber, low calorie special concoction, and the various Weight Watchers solutions, the cards, the tracking, the apps, the videos, conference calls, email lists, blogs, tweets, faxes. The common thread here, and the most often reported ailment found among all of these weight loss options, is that they all induce severe hunger. Some also induce severe diarrhea. And some not only make the individual participant go completely crazy in their brain, in their mind, certifiably nuts, but they have a way of creating extreme anxiety, fear, dread, loathing, trepidation. Those all mean the same thing. They not only affect the weight, mind, and soul of the person trying to lose weight, but they negatively affect everyone in their household. With that said, I will now share the proven weight loss method I have recently discovered that is guaranteed to provide instant weight loss to you and whomever wishes to try it. As with all weight loss programs, this one comes with a cost. This is not in everyone's budget, and I can't guarantee, as with any weight loss gimmick, that this one will work for the rest of your life. It will only work in the first couple of months of doing these 2 words, especially if your teeth are really jacked up. That's right. This has to do with your teeth. If your teeth are perfect, this plan will not work for you. It only works for people who have really jacked up teeth. The weight loss program that I highly recommend that has worked for me is this. In just 2 words, get braces.
Thank you for listening to the Josh Podcast Show, the anti-podcast podcast on God and man. For more information, visit joshpodcast.com. Follow Josh on Twitter at Josh Rolfe. That's Rolfe, R-O-L-P as in podcast, H. Now go and have the best day and night ever. And have fun.